Very good evening to all our viewers. Welcome to today's edition of the Evening Review. My name is Toivan Jabela, your host. Tonight on the show, we are joined by Captain William Ekandjo. He is accountable manager at Fly Etosha Airways. Fly Etosha has been in the news in recent weeks, and we are speaking to the man himself to hear from the horse mouth. Mr. Ekandjo, what a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for making time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, wonderful. If you can tell us what Fly Etosha is really, because we didn't know about Fly Etosha until the newspaper headlines. If you can walk us into what Etosha Airlines is, Fly Etosha is.
Thank you very much for that question. Fly Etosha is simply an airline that was created based on the need to have aviation active in Namibia.
Yeah, yeah.
As you are aware, you cannot develop a country if you don't have proper aviation infrastructure in the country. As you can see, I mean, there is nothing. If you could have been outside, you don't hear airplanes. You know, this is a dry sky, nothing happening, and that is actually not good for the country. Yeah. So we thought, let's bring in that thing, and especially now that I have got nothing to do.
Yeah, yeah.
I have been too long in the aviation, so I've been flying for, actually I'm 40 years now in aviation. And well, I thought it's necessary maybe to pass on my experience to the Namibian people.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
What is your background in aviation yourself, personally?
I've been a pilot for most of the time, and lately I started managing flight operations. I was a general manager of flight operations for some time now. If I have got to speak to my previous to my colleagues, the ones that have been managing, they will tell you that I am, or I was, the longest serving general manager or flight operations manager, accountable person for flight operations in Namibia. Yes.
Wonderful. Did you leave Namibia during that time of the liquidation, or were you already out of Namibia by that time?
I was actually lucky. Just 3 months, I think 3 or 4 months before they could close it up.
Yeah.
That's where my retirement kicked in. So I was one of the luckiest there.
Yeah, yeah.
Or as many put it, that maybe the airline was closed because I wasn't there. Yeah. I mean, I've been fighting for this Air Namibia since a long time, and I have been there.
Yeah.
Trying to to keep this thing going.
Yeah.
And as you are well aware, I was sued. I mean, I have been part of my management, but I was sued by the board members and a manager somewhere there for accusing, for seeing things, for predicting that this airline, the manner we are operating, is going to close. And because of that, they say, okay, it's good. I say, it's a grievance. I'm lunging to my superior. You say, okay, but your grievance, there is something wrong in your grievance. Your grievance is simply because you bypass, or you surpass or bypass the management system.
Yeah.
But I said that this is a grievance to the general manager. I mean, to the chairperson of the board.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but you bypassed. You were supposed to stop only at the chairperson of the board.
Yeah,
and I said no, but this is all too. It didn't go to the media. Whatever my complaints were, I was simply to the stakeholders, which is the ministry, ombudsman, and also for police to investigate and things like that. Now they say, okay, you're not supposed to go there. You're just supposed to do things in-house. And for that reason, I was sued. But anyways,
Yeah.
that's all the past.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, when you look at some of those complaints that you have raised at the time, the lessons, how not to do things, will that be helpful in you running Fly Etosha more successfully and differently from how things were done at Namibia, for example?
Obviously, that will be a great help. And in the team, actually, because there were so many people that were not happy how things were run, you see. So with all that experience that we have got, because not only me, the whole team has been in Namibia, most of them, and so we have got quite an experience on how things should be done, mistakes that were done in the past. Yeah, and to love your country as such, having something to show, what a pleasure it is if you go anywhere else and you see your country's flag flying somewhere else there. It's just beautiful, and we don't want to lose that. We want to keep Namibia flying and flying beyond the borders of this country.
Absolutely. Your application for an operating license was lodged. There were objections. There was a window of opportunity for objections, and Fly Namibia, which is operating currently locally as a privately owned airline, had a number of things to say about your supposed ability to run an airline. There were issues about you not having proven that you have the finances and the I suppose aircraft that are required now for you to start an airline. What do you say to that? In fact, are you satisfying some of those requirements?
Some is not the correct word, most probably. We satisfy all requirements that are there. Funds, one could say that, okay, is not enough maybe or so, but up to what amount, because we can raise all kinds of funds that you want us to raise. Equipment, as I said earlier on, if these aeroplanes, those aeroplanes are available everywhere. I mean, maybe the ones that we are crying for most, some of them are a little bit too difficult to get, simply because of the demand of those type of aeroplanes that we want to have. Regulatory requirements. I mean, we are top class. We've been running these requirements for so many years. As you can see, that maybe I was the only one of those ones that those airlines that could fly to Europe, for example, and that was because of us, especially flight operations people and many other departments that were really helpful in that to keep that to keep the airline flying into Europe. It wasn't an easy task, but finally we accomplished that. And that's going to be the same thing with Fly Etosha. We shall make sure that this airline shall fly all over the world in a near space of time. Okay, I would say that we could start flying, let's say, internationally, say beyond 2 years. Okay, others are predicting even earlier, but I would say 2 years. Why? Because there are so many requirements that you really need to pass. The easy one is to fly regional. There is very little demand in terms of regulatory requirements and many other things, finances, because it's not going to be the same. Flying regional for the regional, it should be nothing. I mean, when it comes to in terms of funds.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk about bigger airplanes, let's say in the airplanes that can take us beyond, really across the Atlantic or the Mediterranean or anywhere else.
Mm.
Those are airplanes that are in the seating capacity of 200 and 300 passengers.
Mm.
So those ones are a little bit more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Of course, another thing I can tell you is it's a risky business. It's not that easy.
Yeah.
People have got to trust you before they can invest in you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that we have got.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Captain, when we talk about having, of course, there are regulatory issues. You said those ones you take care of, but in terms of the assets
Mm-hmm.
that are required, for example, the questions have been asked as to whether it is prudent for one to own aircrafts before their licenses are approved. What if I buy planes and then I'm told, no, your application has not been approved? Which approach are you using here? Will you be leasing, for example, these planes? Do you have them bought already? What is sort of the situation?
Yeah, Toivo, exactly that. What are you going to have first? Are you going to buy airplanes and then sit down with them and hear that no, we're not going to take you, we're not going to give you a license or so. Now, which one are you going to take? Or are you going to lease airplanes? We are standing on open for both options. Anyways, I mean, either to buy or to lease. That is within ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is about finances and the cheapest way to operate.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to have any airplane. You don't need to own any airplane to get the air operator certificate.
Yeah.
That you don't need. It's not a requirement to say.
Yeah.
But as long as you can demonstrate that yes, you have got in fact indeed the knowledge and you know how to go about aviation, I mean that should be the necessary requirement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But for you to have all those airplanes, you say you are buying them, it's not the way it should be.
Yeah.
But otherwise, airplanes, we have got airplanes are all over the world. They can be sourced anytime. As soon as we get the air operators, the air service license.
Yeah.
And after that, the more complicated and challenging one is the next one, which is the air operator certificate, the AOC. That one, that has got real specific, because I want to see the aeroplane first.
Mm-hmm.
Before anything else, you want to see your setup. You want to see, there's got about 5 phases that you have got to go through to get that particular airplane, services or license before you can even talk of putting one passenger on board that airplane.
I see.
So yeah, so this one, the first one is actually not, it shouldn't be an issue. This air operator certificate. No, the air service license, that shouldn't be that complicated. The one that one should be concerned about is truly the air operator certificate, AOC is called.
Okay.
That one is really challenging, and if you pass that one, perhaps people should wait and judge us on that one, not on the air service license. Yeah.
Wonderful.
The other one is really complicated because you have got to get the aeroplane first and the inspectors. You have got to satisfy them.
Yeah.
Like these aeroplanes that are not here, that means you have got to fund the inspectors' requirements. In other words, like now there's a new aeroplane, a new brand that is not here. I'm saying new brand in the sense that it is not in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, for that one, you have got to, you who's seeking that air operator certificate, you have got to look forward to train those people as well, you know, because it's a new, you want the airplane there, so it's you have got to make sure that these people are trained. They are, I'm talking about the inspectors that do not belong to you.
Yes.
But simply a process that you have got to take care of.
Yeah, yeah.
You have got to take them to where the training is. It's on your budget. And obviously, I mean, like us, all of us, we have to go for training for that. So it's not an issue. It's not only specifically for them. We can add them up to be part of the whole operations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We go for a quick break and return for the second part of the show.
Please, put on your safety belt, sir. It's very important for your life.
The seatbelt doesn't make me drive comfortably. Yes, that's better. Please wear your seatbelt. I did not.
The show continues with Captain Ekandjo. So, Captain, what did you make of the objections by Fly Namibia? Of course, they eventually abandoned those objections, but what was your impression of that?
Look, we are focused on what we are doing. This is a field that we know very well. So we didn't even bother, or because we were really ready to go in for for competition, which is what it is all about. That's business, isn't it? So it is actually as if we haven't heard. Me myself is as if I haven't heard what their complaints were, because it really didn't bother me a little bit. So and as I said earlier on, is that. One has got the right. You can complain, and you can sit down and complain the whole day. I mean, will that really help you anything? No. Yeah. And of course, I know it's a concern for people that has been in business for a longer time. You may be having all the equipments. You may have equipment that are not fit for purpose. You may have equipments, aeroplanes that are not productive. On the other hand, you may have entered into business with other institutions that may prohibit you not to change equipments, or it's going to be also very expensive for you if you just want to jump from one aeroplane to another. You have to stick to what you have. The advantage that we have got is that we choose what we want and what we foresee as a requirement that is fit for purpose for us. Equipment that are well serviceable. The aeroplanes that will make money for us. Aeroplanes that will carry the right contingency of carriage, whatever you want to carry. These passengers, you'll be carrying all of them. You say your aeroplane has got a capacity to carry 50 passengers. It will carry all those 50 passengers. Not where it comes to, they say, oh, it's too hot today, we cannot carry 50 passengers. We can only carry 30 because the weather allows us only to carry 30 passengers or so. These are things that we're supposed to know and to, to predict in the future, that these airplanes, are they going to be able, like Windhoek Aeros Airport is a very short airport with mountains and a whole lot of obstacles and one direction takeoff kind of things depending on your airplane. And it may restrict you, you see. So one should have known about those things and coming to now this time to say, oh, I cannot carry, even if I have got 50 passengers that has booked in, I cannot take them because my aeroplane is a useless aeroplane and cannot take all the passengers, which is your problem. You see that?
Absolutely.
So if you are at the beginning, like now, we can choose anything we want, you know, and we'll use the absolute expertise that we have to make sure we achieve that objectives.
Yeah, absolutely. Andre Compion was on in that seat during that time of the objection, and I don't want to make it about the objection, but obviously what he was saying is that he just wanted Fly Etosha to be held to the same standards as other operators in the market, and that they were simply saying that you must be subjected to those requirements. So in that case, you are not worried. You are confident that you will tick off all the boxes.
Oh, really? Was he here?
He was.
Okay. No, obviously, you know, as I said, anyone, you know, this is a democratic country.
Yeah.
Anyone has got the right to complain, you know, whatever you want to feel threatened about.
Yeah.
But none of those things, you know, the way we are entering the market is just like anyone else.
Yeah.
You know, as I said, you know, obviously, as I said, you have a challenge there if you have budgeted for 50 passengers and you are not able to get the 50 passengers, either because they didn't show interest or you couldn't carry them, they couldn't buy tickets, or you are rejecting them simply because of your operational capacity. So those are the factors that can bother your operation. But in our case, I mean, if I say that we are taking equipments, aeroplanes that are cheap to operate, for example, they may not be that fancy, but they're going to be, for sure, comfortable. You have comfortable seat. We're going to have to put in these short sectors. We are capable of putting in a business class because many people may want to travel in a different style. It's in the same vein that already that is additional income. Our airplanes can take off with additional cargo, for example. There's an additional income. Whereas theirs, if they are offloading passengers already, how on earth are you going to put cargo on? In the airplane, if you cannot carry the same capacity. I'm not saying that theirs are like that. I'm just saying in general. Well, if it is like that, then be it. But ours have got enough sitting places. For tall guys like you'll be able to stand straight up.
Yeah,
Nothing of bending yourself, you know. And you can carry as much load you can, not like others where they say, no, you cannot, sorry, take that bag off because there is no space there in the airplane. These ones are able to, you know, you can carry on with all those, with your luggages and even bigger suitcases that you want that you can put anywhere else. But that is just the nature of airplane that we have. And that is what is your freedom to go and look for the stuff that you want to have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What are the timelines? If the directorate was the aviation authorities were to say, look, you have satisfied our requirements, what timelines are we looking at?
We want to be airborne already by June, not before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. The last question then to you, Captain. There was also, there's always issues flying on social media. There was this document that was flying there and a lengthy write-up about how Fly Namibia was supposedly your name. You had sort of earmarked it and then somehow it was given away to your competitors. Is there any truth to that? What can you tell us about that?
Man, Toivo, at this stage here, I want to concentrate on Fly Etosha.
Yeah.
The other stuff, obviously, I mean, I have those the paperwork of Fly Namibia that all by surprise, I heard that no, you have to get away from that name because that name was registered as a trademark. And then, yeah, that's and I foresee that this thing is going to take long.
Yeah.
If I'm really aiming to have an air service license, an airline that is to take off this year, I think I have got to give that a break. I mean, I have got to look for something else. So quickly, I was so lucky to get this name, Fly Etosha.
Yeah.
Okay, I was kicked away from the other name for whatever reasons. The name was already registered as a trademark, but then I see two stamps. I see a stamp of the same stamp of BIPA on my documents, and I see the same stamp on theirs. So on West Day, you see. Now I say that now this country, how do people operate? How are you going to pay taxes and stuff like that if you're operating as Flight Namibia? Or is it just no, I don't want to go further than that.
Yeah.
So I think I will leave it for the public. I always leave things for the public to judge.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So this is how I leave it.
Wonderful.
Okay.
My captain,
Yes.
it's a pleasure having you on the.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
We are looking forward to your business taking off, and we will be there to actually book our flight.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that was William Ekandjo. He is from Fly Etosha, filling us in on what is happening with Fly Etosha, the timelines. He says by June, if not earlier, they ought to be airborne, and we are looking forward to that. Thank you for watching.